Hello everybody. Today we are going to begin with the quick draw action. Now, the quick draw action begins with number 1, and that is grab the gun. Number 2, pull the gun out of the holster. Right? Number 3, point. And number 4, pull the trigger. Okay, so now this is the quick draw action, right? And this action we can put into, several different scenarios. Quick draw action, right? So let's put this into several different scenarios. Now I don't know, what are we gonna do? We'll do high noon. That's two men don't like each other, they're playing cards, or they're comparing, their boots, and they're like, we're gonna meet at high noon, right? And then each of them go there, and what do? They perform the quick draw action, right? What would be another quick draw action? Let's say let's bring in some actors. Okay, so another quick draw action would be done by actors. So an actor is acting in a movie, and what does he do? He performs the quick draw action, right? But let's add a little bit more to this. Let's say he performs the quick draw action on another actor, and there's a real bullet in the gun, right? But you could, just switch this around and say, hey, there was a real bullet in the gun, but he knew it, But in all three of these, what do you have? You have the quick draw action, right? So now let's do warfare. How about? And one guy, gets blown up, and he doesn't have any legs or waist, and he's sitting there dying. The enemy's advancing, and you have a soldier, a friend of this guy who's dying, and the guy's like, "Go, you need to go. Just, but before you go, do it, man." And the guy's like, "Yeah, I can't. I love you, brother." Right, but he ends up doing it. He does the quick draw action, and that's what he does. He grabs his gun, pulls it out, points, and pulls the trigger. Do 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 do. I mean, you could keep going with different examples, right? I like murder. Ooh, that's a bad one. Right, we have murder. Murder. And then I mean, we could break murder up, right? Again, this is the same quick draw action, but let's say Bob performs the quick draw action on Frank. Hateful. So there's hateful. But let's say Bob, he's just having fun shooting random people. So he's a psychopath. No. So I mean, what's going on here? right? What's going on here? And again, you could keep just keep going with this quick draw action stuff. What's going on here is that the same act is being performed in each one. Think of this as like a program, right? You're writing a program, and this is a part of the program, right? And this is really the difference between what one would call heart/intent. Depending on the discussion, intent is more of a legal discussion. Heart would be more of a psychological and spiritual thing, right? And the will, right? So this is the will right here, right? And what happened? And this is a part of a program, right? Your will is like the program of your day. Like before this, you know, what's going on? You know, I mean, what's the will? They're playing cards, right? Or they're comparing who has the better boots, or whose gun is better, right? I'll show you my gun is better. So this is all part of a program, right? So your day is a program, and you are either the programmer or the programmed, right? And so anyway, so this is the will, and the will in each of these scenarios is the exact same, right? But oh my goodness, there's totally different judgments going on here, right? And this would point to the fact that good and evil are of the heart, right? Good and evil are not of the will. If you want to bring this into legal terms, right? Into a legal discussion, this presents a problem, right? Because if you cannot see good and evil with your eyes, if you cannot physically see good and evil with your eyes, then the conclusion we can draw from this is that human justice will always be imperfect. Because we can never see another man's heart. We cannot see their intent. That is something that is a mystery to us. Sometimes even a mystery from themselves, right? You know what I'm saying? So so I mean, yeah, like in the war example, this would be you know, just I don't know, it would be a compassionate act. You know, putting him out of his misery. He's gonna die, you know. It's not a matter of if he's gonna die. It's just a matter of when, and you're just maybe you could say that no, he should pick up a gun and start firing and trying to protect his friend. Go through the pain. But I mean, it's all dependent on the individual, right? I mean, this would point to justice is all about the individual, and that's not about the group, right? So I mean, but like let's really think about this, and let's take out this word evil, right? Good is of the heart. Good is not of the will. Right? And what would be the goods of the heart? The goods of the heart would be love, bravery, wisdom, maybe gratitude, There's not a whole lot of them, right? I mean, the goods of the heart are just, these beautiful treasures. But what would be a good of the will? right? A good of the will would be like, think about status, climbing the economic and social ladder, right? In our world, the heart is pitied as weak. The heart, well, and it is pitied as weak because our goods are of the will and they're not of the heart, right? Because the heart creates a bond. Think about that. The heart creates a bond. Without a heart, a man is a lonely star in an empty solar system. This is false strength. A bond with a loving heart is true strength, right? Love is true value. And so if we think about this, that good is not of the will, good is of the heart, then you can just let go. Let go of all this false pressure that builds up from within. Right? Because love leads to peace. That's all you need. That's all you need is you need love, and love leads to peace. Status will not satisfy. Right? What would be another good of the will? Another good of the will would be utilitarian lovers. Right? Those whose love is dependent upon your will. Right? These are control freaks and dominators. Those who blaspheme love, right? A good relationship does not consume you. It's how do you look at another? You should want to admire another, right? Rather than glory in a hateful heart. A utilitarian lover will devour you. And this is all someone who glorifies the good of the will rather than the good of the heart. Right? Because a good relationship does not consume you. It is not tyrannical. Right? So what are the conclusions we can draw from this? I mean, like when I say that good and evil are of the heart, immediately I'm assuming in most people's minds they just focus on that evil thing. Evil is in the heart. And that's because we have this voice in our head that wants to tear us apart. Right? We're so focused on guilt and shame. So good is of the heart, right? Because you release yourself from all those false internal pressures. You can tell yourself, simply, I am a lover. And that's all I need to be.